in the low 50% range. Watch for teams to gap him. Let's see if he's been able to put the time and the work in to become a more viable perimeter jump shooter. They'll need that from him, especially with all the young bodies they're trying to incorporate into their offensive attack.
Yeah, besides Brosdakis, who is starting, there are 4 other freshmen in this talented freshman class. And coming off the national championship game appearance, Michigan turns to the next chapter in the book as they start 2018-2019 here from Chrysler Center. Here is Brosdakis, born in Lithuania, then moved to Canada as a youngster. Late in the shot clock here. Simpson kicks it out, deep 3, Matthews, and that is short.
Matthews needed to get into his shooting motion. He didn't do his work while the ball was in the air. You saw him have to kind of reload. He needed to be able to step into that jump shot when the pass was on the way.
On the other end, no good. In and out by Jordan Butler, who is the junkyard dog and the leader for the Norfolk State Spartans, so watch out for him tonight. Michigan taking the first shot from outside the arc. Last year they tied the school record with 361 threes made. That's their identity, although this year a lot of people think that they may be more defense and driving the basketball like this. Poole wraps around a nice pass to Charles Matthews.
Really nice job by Poole of being a creator for his teammate. In that case, Matthews, known as a jump shooter, deservedly so, but really starting to set the tone early here in his sophomore season.
There's the man that I talked about, Jordan Butler, a little strong off the glass, and the ball belongs to Michigan.
Well, Jordan Poole doing a really nice job of drawing contact and leaving it for Matthews. Good job by Matthews. What you're going to see coming in here is he created enough space. He didn't dive to the rim too early to allow his defender to come over and help.
Norfolk State, they like to force turnovers. They like to push the tempo, and they extended some full court pressure there on the underneath out of bounds. Brosdakis kicks to Simpson, long 3. Well, no good, but a new look for him taking the outside shot, and then Brosdakis no good on the runner. But a tap out, and Michigan keeps possession.
Nice job by Teske of keeping the play alive. And you mentioned, even though that was a miss by Simpson, Brandon, he shot that ball confidently. There was no hesitation, good backspin. You can live with that. He's going to have to make that shot more often than not to become more of a viable offensive threat. That way he can then get in the lane, because if he knocks down a couple of those, they have to close out. If they don't do so under control, he can get to the rim and create.
And you gave the numbers from last year, less than 29% for Simpson beyond the arc, something he has to improve. Speaking of behind the arc, that one off the mark from Derek Jamerson.
He shot 40% from behind the arc for Norfolk State last year. Not really going to get to the foul line, only 5 attempts a year ago.
Teske, that's an easy attempt at the basket, and a two-handed slam.
Nice job by Teske of slipping the screen and rolling, and again, a good delivery on the bounce pass from Poole, his second assist here in the early going.
Both Michigan buckets in the paint, and there's the steal. Teske got a hand in there. Up ahead, Matthews. Can't finish, but he'll go to the line.
What a beautiful play by Poole in the open floor, finding. But in the half-court set, nice job here by Poole. And look where that bounce pass is, Brandon. He knows the recipient. It's a big guy. Put it up there around the letters. You don't want to have to make the big guy go down below his knees. He leads him right to the rim. Really impressed here in the early going by Poole and his playmaking ability.
And that is something that they really want from him. He had 22 assists all of last year. Poole 7 assists in the exhibition game, so needs to be a better facilitator. But this, Sean, this free throw shooting has been an issue for Michigan since the start of last year.
Yeah, and the two guys that really struggled a year ago are back. Charles Matthews, 56% from the line. Xavier Simpson at 52%, and that was an area of concern for Michigan a year ago, usually toward the top of the conference in terms of free throw percentage. They were 12th in free throw percentage a year ago at 66%, and the struggles of Simpson and Matthews were a big reason why.
Yeah, and a Beeline team here at Michigan had never been below 70% until last year, and Norfolk State is struggling to put the ball in the basket early. They're 0 for 4. Poole on the dribble drive, and he gets fouled. John Beeline before the game told us feels good. You know, I mentioned the surgery, that was way back on August 6th, and he seemed the same as always.
Yeah, I tell you, the thing we can talk about leadership, and regardless of what realm a leader operates in, to me, a big part of it is being able to adapt. No better example than that of Coach John Beeline over the last 2 years of understanding, you know what, we need to tidy things up on the defensive end of the floor, and they have done that admirably. In the past, they might have had to rely on scoring a little bit more. Now their margin for error has increased demonstrably because they've really tightened up on the defensive end of the floor over the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, last year the improvement very clear. They feel like they have another talented defensive team. They haven't given up a point yet in 3+ minutes here in the home opener.
You can see the defensive intensity. Look at Simpson just harassing the ball handler Pitt.
Trying to get a steal out of it, but it's going to be a foul on Jordan Poole trying to come in to grab it for Michigan.
Xavier Simpson just harassing Pitt, the primary ball handler for Norfolk State, not letting him turn the corner. Good communication there by Teske, letting him know that the screen was coming, allowing him to get over the top. Good team defense between the big Teske and the perimeter defender there in Xavier Simpson.
Xavier Simpson had 6 steals in the exhibition game on Friday when Michigan beat up on Division II Northwood 90-58. Here he is again defending the ball, and Bastati Pitt, the point guard for the Spartans. This is Nick Thomas late in the shot clock. Pitt against the bigger Teske, and Teske swats it out of bounds with 2 to shoot.
So there's a mismatch there, but a good job by Teske of recovering. And look where his hands are. A lot of times the big will draw a foul because he drops his hands down. There he shows his hands, allowing him to recover for the block.
And the shot clock did not expire, but it does because of the air ball. So Jamerson got the shot off, but it will go as a turnover since the ball did not hit the rim. Norfolk State led by Robert Jones, 39 years old, born in Queens, and he's been at Norfolk State since 2007. Was an assistant back when they beat Missouri in the NCAA tournament as a 15 seed in 2012.
And right now, Norfolk State trying something different, going to a zone defense, trying to force Michigan to shoot over the top because their ability to get to the rim and hurt them early on.
And that's something that they told us we might see quite a bit of, that zone defense. But they still cannot get the ball to drop through the hoop. A lot of words about Michigan's defense in the offseason. It's showing up early.
Brought in a former head coach at Wright State. You can see that allowed them to jump between 2015 and 2016. And then last year with Hugh Glocklich taking over that defensive coordinator position, for want of a better term. They just took that proverbial next level on the defensive end of the floor, and it has certainly paid dividends here in the early going because Norfolk State has not been able to score, and for long periods of time in their possessions have not even been able to penetrate the three-point arc.
They're 0 of 6 from the floor as Norfolk State. Michigan 2 of 7.
Nice pass.
Teske had it knocked out, but that's a foul on Nick Thomas.
Good delivery. What Teske needed to do there to allow himself the chance to score was come meet the pass. If he comes and meets the pass, he's going to be able to go right up and finish. Because he didn't and kind of waited for the ball to come to him, that allowed Thomas to come in and draw the contact.
Teske, of course, going to need bigger minutes, a bigger role this year with Mo Wagner off to the NBA. They want him to go from about 10 minutes a game to 25 to 30, John Beeline said. Brooks off the bench and into the basket. Eli Brooks from downtown. And Sean, that's a kid last year who shot 24% from deep.
And the top three-point shooters have moved on from Michigan, and they'll need performances like that from Brooks, especially here in the early going as you're trying to get your rotation set and incorporate some of these younger players.
Great start, 9-0, and another empty possession for Norfolk State. Teske against a double team. He will head to the line. Let's see that 3 again from Eli Brooks.
Nice job of the ball reversal. It didn't hit the floor. You saw it go to the top of the key, and rather than hesitate, the pass then came from Simpson, which hit Brooks right in the shooting pocket. And against that zone defense, there was a breakdown in communication. They didn't close out with a hand up, and Brooks made him pay.
Teskey can't hit on the first. He was a 57% shooter at the line last year. And Isaiah Livers, who they're expecting a big sophomore campaign from, checks in. Brazdeikis, the freshman, to the bench. But John Teskey, with Wagner gone, as I was starting to say, Sean, this is a big year for him.
And he had flashes a year ago in the Big Ten tournament against that mammoth front line of Purdue with Matt Harms and Isaac Haas. He delivered admirably with 14 points, really held his own physically, and was a big reason they were able to advance and win their second consecutive Big Ten tournament title.
Yeah, there was a very memorable Purdue game. Right wing three way off from Armani Branch.
He got the union broke because that was a bricklayer.
0 of 8 right now, Norfolk State. Not the start that they envisioned. Great extra pass. Matthews in and out. And it falls to Nick Thomas. Alex Long had it stripped away by Teskey. And then Brooks didn't see the basketball coming at him. He kicked it out of bounds.
And because there was no change of possession, they have to be cognizant, does Norfolk State, about the shot clock.
Teskey continues to show the defensive prowess, and Brooks just didn't realize the ball was there.
Yeah, and it started with the fact that with a loose ball, Charles Matthews committed a cardinal sin. You never try to dribble a loose ball, pick it up, and then look ahead.
When can the Spartans get their first basket? 5 to shoot. Offensive foul. Mustadi Pitt pushes over Xavier Simpson.
Nice job by Simpson of moving his feet. Watch him right here. He understands this is where Pitt wants to go. And yes, there was contact. What really drew the attention, in addition to the fall right here by Simpson, watch Pitt. He drops that shoulder, and the baseline official is not straight line, meaning he had a clear view of the contact, and Simpson did a good job of selling it.
He did sell it. The team's top defender. That's not his first rodeo. He is the key on that side of the ball, and on this side of the ball, he sets him up. Inside Livers, and then a nice kick to the corner to Brooks. He hit the three earlier. With 7 to shoot, Livers to the corner. Simpson, a little long.
Nice job.
Davis.
Really good sequence all around by Austin Davis. He sealed off, which allowed the original dribble drive, Brandon, and then he didn't become a spectator. He comes back inside. Watch him with a little bit of the seal. That allows the dribble drive, and then understanding angles. I'm not sure if he's a geometry major, but he understands that about 85 to 90% of the time, a shot from one corner is going to carry him to the opposite side, and Davis went underneath the basket and then came back out. Really solid performance there.
Boy, it's early in the season for you with a geometry lesson, but we'll take it. We'll take whatever we can get here. That was 1 and 1, and nobody went for the rebound. Davis realized it, laid it back up and in. Everybody on both sides, they were asleep. Because that was the 7th Norfolk State team foul, and they thought it was a shooting foul. It was not. So 11 to nothing, and a bank. That is how the Spartans get their first basket.
Hey, when you're dying of thirst, even a lukewarm taste of water is going to feel good.
Alex Long makes it 11 to 2. Back in to Davis. He's kind of filling the role that Teskey had last year as the backup big man. Nice move, just couldn't get it to drop.
Really good job of not putting the ball on the floor too early by the big fella there.
Travel. Let's look at this play, though, by Davis. What hustle.
Yeah, but the unpaid attendance went up dramatically with the 5 guys from Norfolk State.
I mean, my favorite part was he just ripped it away from Alex Long underneath the basket. Nobody had a clue. That three no good from the wing by Matthews. Battle for the board, and it comes down to the Spartans.
Davis has done a nice job of being active, kind of coming in here and eating some minutes with Teskey getting a rest.
6'10" junior. And that'll take us 2018 Big Ten Tournament champions, the run to the Final Four. They hoisted those banners before the game, and this is what they lost from last year. And Wagner, Abdul Rahman, and Robinson, quite a bit of production.
And all three players have one thing in common, other than the fact they were extremely productive. Since they got to Ann Arbor, all three of those young men got better in every facet of the ball game. And that guy in the middle, Muhammad Ali Abdul Rahman, might have been one of the most overlooked yet important players to his team's success during his tenure here in Ann Arbor. Jordan Poole knocked down the big shot against Houston, but it's not possible without the solid fundamental play and the delivery on that feed from Muhammad Ali Abdul Rahman.
Those three piloted that run last year, but now the new chapter starts, and it started pretty well here, holding Norfolk State to 1 of 10 from the floor so far.
That would be 10%. Even I can do that now.
Yeah, geometry, basic math. Well, you get your numbers and colors down, you're going to be a real threat.
I brought my abacus. Good.
With this Michigan team, we'll see how the season progresses, how they do from outside. Well, that's a good look right there. Livers on the three.
And again, it's Jordan Poole. The shot fake, they have to honor that. He's able to turn the corner, come under control, and deliver to his teammate Livers in the corner for Poole's third assist on the evening.
Tying his season high from last year, Sean. So the new role for Jordan Poole of being a facilitator coming to fruition, and now the second block for Teskey tonight. Brazdakis got it. There's the first bucket in a Michigan uniform for Ignas Brazdakis. It'll be the first of many. And a timeout by Norfolk State. Now let's take a look at this message from ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire on the nice drive around the freshman Brazdakis.
Nice job by Kelly of utilizing the shot fake and able to get to the rim, and Teskey just not able to come over there. He's blocked a couple shots, not able to locate that one.
That's by far and away the easiest look the Spartans have had tonight. Brazdakis, well, that was a tough effort. And it was tipped and out of bounds. It will stay with Michigan.
And Jordan Poole, watch the shot fake. You get the defender out of your stance and you come under control. We talked about the fundamentals. The use of the 2-foot jump stop right there by Poole doesn't allow Norfolk State to rotate over and potentially take a charge, and then the delivery delivers in the corner for the third assist of the night for the sophomore.
That's great. If Teskey can hit that shot from 15, that's big for Michigan.
And a good job by Teskey. A lot of times, Brandon, you'll see a big guy on the delivery bring the ball down to go into his shooting motion. The ball was delivered to him at his shoulders. No reason to go from 6'11 to 5'11 by bringing the ball down.
Disrupting the shot on the other end. Teskey, 4 points, 3 rebounds, 2 blocks. He's been solid. Brooks hit one earlier, not there, but offensive rebound by Teskey. And it'll be a 1-and-1. I know that it's early, it's Norfolk State, but John Teskey has impressed me so far.
Been very active on both ends of the floor. You mentioned it. Nice utilization of that 15-foot jump shot there at the elbow, but been very, very active, has asked for the ball, and then on the defensive end of the floor has done a good job, even when he's been beaten off the dribble drive. A lot of folks at home may say, hey, he's inside the restricted area. Isn't that an automatic block? No, you are entitled as a defender. If you go straight up, you can leave your feet, and as long as you don't break verticality, you can make the couple of the plays that Teskey's done so far.
Tap out, nice job by Livers. And a new shot clock for Michigan. One area that John Beilein will not be happy about. They're 3 of 9 from the line. How about that step back from Poole? But the finish not there. Michigan ball, however.
And if you're Norfolk State, be it in the man-to-man or in the zone, which they've utilized here for periods of time, once that ball goes up, you are undersized. You have to go and locate a white jersey and put a body on it. You can't allow someone to have free range, even though you're giving up a lot of size going to the offensive glass.
Robert Jones finding his team in a big hole inside of 10 minutes left in the half. Livers, yes, three-pointer is good.
A little bit of a rub screen there from Teskey on the far side, which allowed Livers to kind of slide off, and no one was able to get over the top of the screen by Teskey, and Livers with his second triple of the night.
Good sign. He averaged 3 points last year. Now it's 6. And they're going to get a foul underneath on Brazdakis. His first, third foul on Michigan. And they will call it a shooting foul, and C.J. Kelly will roll to the line.
Kelly's a redshirt freshman for Norfolk State. Sat out last year. Now, he was a big-time scorer at the high school level in the New York City area, averaged 28 points per ball game, but it's a whole different ball game here, going from the high school level to your first game, your first regular season game at the collegiate level.
Yeah, you're right, though. They were hoping that last year would have been his freshman campaign, but now he has to break it in at Chrysler Center. He gets one of two. Michigan's been spreading it around already. 7 different guys have scored.
And off that made free throw, going to a little 1-3-1 action, kind of something that Michigan did for a number of years, and Norfolk State giving them a taste of their own medicine here.
Baseline jump shot, no good. Teskey. Well, Robert Jones said, look, we're going to mix things up defensively. He has done that so far. It's the offense that has been the issue. Just 2 of 12 right now for the Spartans. Long from the elbow. That was off balance, one-handed shot. Matthews able to penetrate inside. No, Teskey with a nice tap back.
Again, they lose Teskey, allowing him to roll to the rim, but how about the use, even though he came up a little bit short on the shot, the change of pace dribble by Matthews, very impressive there.
.6 rebounds for Teskey already. And another shot gone awry for Norfolk State, and Livers rips it out of there. Leads to a little break. Matthews, nice pass. Poole steps into a 3. Livers offensive. No for Teskey. And the Spartans clear it.
And Teskey went up there, didn't go up there strong, Brandon. He went up kind of off balance and out of control and left it a little short.
Lost it out of bounds. It will be Michigan basketball.
One of the oldest plays in the book is the pick and roll. Teskey picks. Rolls to the rim.
Michigan is looking good. 19th ranked Wolverines already up 20. One reason why they're doubling up Norfolk State on the glass, 22-11.
And a lot of those coming on the offensive glass. 8 second chance points thus far for the Michigan Wolverines off 11 offensive rebounds. 3 of those coming from John Teskey, who's been very, very active. And I'm impressed that you gave that ring back, Brandon, because I know you're all about the bling-bling. And you were eyeing that thing with a great deal of envy.
So that ring you saw on your screen, that was Charles Matthews. I tried to put it on. It almost fit. Would you say, what would you say, just a little big?
Yeah, a tad, a
just
smidge.
a tad, yeah. He's a little taller. Inside here is Matthews. Look at that, right on cue. He's mad that I stole his ring. The senior, of course, everybody knows the story of him transferring from Kentucky. Thought about going to the NBA, opted to come back for one final season in Ann Arbor. Single digits on the shot clock again. Armani Branch, no, says Isaiah Livers. Simpson, offensive foul. And Isaiah Livers with his first block tonight.
And he's forcing a left-handed player to his right. Nice job of honoring the scouting report, and you can tell he's not comfortable going off that inside foot going to his right. Livers made him pay, and then a good job by Norfolk State of not giving up on the play. Good job of defensive transition and getting a turnover with the charge.
Livers last year battled an ankle injury, and he had an ankle injury last month, but they say that he's back to 100%. Looked good in the exhibition game. He had 3 thunderous dunks against Northwood on Friday. Nick Thomas, fade away. That's a tough shot and a pretty shot by Nick Thomas.
Nick Thomas
Nick Thomas, a guy that gave Norfolk State about 9 points per ball game, and this is a team that, let's be honest, they were going to be overmatched usually regardless of the circumstances, but they're down about 3 players. We were at their shoot-around, and I thought they were going to give you a jersey, Brandon, and let you run some backup point.
Yeah, their leading scorer from last year, Stephen Whitley, is gone, as that is going to be a Michigan turnover. Austin Davis goes plowing into the Spartan bench. Nick Thomas' fadeaway was pretty, though.
Nice job of creating space with a little bit of a step back there because you're giving up so much size. Thomas knows that if he goes up in his usual stroke, it's going to play right into the hands of the larger defender from Michigan. Had to utilize that step back, and a good job of delivering.
Now back-to-back turnovers by Michigan with a charge in that last errant pass. Three-pointer from their three-point shooter, Jamerson. And then a foul on the rebound. The ball belongs to Michigan.
I think they got Nick Thomas there with a push-off.
And that's his second, so we'll go to the other end for free throws. It's the 9th team foul.
Now they may want to get together and make sure that they all know this is a one and a bonus.
This is a 1-and-1,
yes.
guys. Robert Jones talked about him not having his top scorer, Stephen Whitley. A couple others, as you mentioned, that aren't here, making it tough for them to stay in this ball game in the first half. Later this week on BTN, more Big Ten basketball coming your way. Thursday and Friday, Northwestern hosting New Orleans, and then Romeo Langford in Indiana hosting Montana State, 8 Eastern both nights. You can also watch it on the Fox Sports app as well as BTN.
Yeah, you mentioned Stephen Whitley, their leading returning scorer from a year ago, out with a knee injury. Another guy they were counting on, Jermaine Bishop, who was an All-Atlantic 10 player as a freshman, all-freshman team member, rather, at St. Louis. They also were counting on him this year, but he's out for the year as well. So not a lot of bodies and not a lot of opportunities to go to the bench so far here for Norfolk State.
The offense continues to struggle, and as Jamerson caught that, he's out of bounds. So the ball goes back to Michigan with a 21-point advantage.
Again, utilizing this 1-3-1 off the dead ball situation, trying to extend the defense and force Michigan to burn some clock.
Poole can't hit the zone buster. That was about from the distance. He hit the three-pointer last year in the NCAA tournament to beat Houston. Keep that run alive.
Good job by Teske of not going for the shot fake there.
Spin move by Joe Bryant in amongst the trees. He can't get it. Now a 3-on-1. Here we go. Simpson to Matthews.
And again, I want to just point out Jordan Poole. He gave himself up. He sprints to the right corner. That gives Simpson another option in the open floor. If Poole doesn't give himself up with that sprint, chances are Matthews doesn't get that easy delivery.
A lot of big steps being made by Jordan Poole in his sophomore campaign, and we're seeing evidence of that tonight.
Poole sprints. That gives another option for the guy in the middle of the floor, Xavier Simpson, and you can see why. Watch him looking off. That gives the defender, Thomas, he has to honor that look off to the right. If Poole doesn't sprint and give himself up, that doesn't allow Matthews to have that easy completion. It's a small thing, but an important thing. Even though Poole doesn't get the assist, he's had 3 of those thus far, he provided an assist opportunity by Simpson because of his willingness to run the floor.
Michigan 8 assists on 11 made baskets, 3 turnovers. Norfolk State 8 turnovers so far. And they're going to get a foul on the floor there on Charles Matthews, his first.
Good job by Jamerson there of understanding that Matthews was closing out. Didn't do so under control because he knew he wanted to be there on the catch with Jamerson. Jamerson sensed that, turned the corner, and drew the contact.
5 team fouls now on Michigan. Joe Bryant, one of their freshmen. Nice feed inside, nice. And a finish by Jordan Butler.
And a good job by Bryant of utilizing that fan dribble. He dribbles out, not going toward the defense. He dribbles off a little bit to the right. That creates some space, which allowed Butler to set the screen and then roll.
Now Matthews on the other side, driving it at Butler and drawing the foul. So 2 on Butler, 10 now on the Spartans in the foul category.
Nice 2-man game in the half-court set by Norfolk State. Now watch that little fan dribble. That creates just enough space. Teske has to honor that. He wants to come out there and try to help Simpson. Jordan Butler sensed that, rolls to the rim, and a good find by Joe Bryant for a rare easy basket here for the visitors.
That's the first time anybody's had success finishing around John Teskey's defense in the paint. 2 free throws for Matthews, in and out. And the free throw woes continue for Charles Matthews. John Beilein was saying, look, his forms look good. He shot it well in the exhibition game from the line, but tonight he's 0 for 3 at the stripe. And that one was well short.
And now it's just become, that's not anything in mechanics. That's from the shoulders up. He just needs to see it go through and stick with his routine because he didn't shoot that one very confident.
No, it didn't look confident at all. The Wolverines collectively 4 of 13 at the foul line. Nice fadeaway shot. We saw one earlier from the other side of the floor by Nick Thomas. That might be the one thing that John Beilein's still scratching his head about, the free throw shooting. Everything else has been pretty good so far. Livers, he's hit 2 threes already. Now a cross-court skip to Poole. Teskey, mid-range. Went for the offensive board and picked up the foul.
Big fella, you get that much moving all one way, it's hard to put on the brakes. I mean, that's not a Prius trying to stop. That's an 18-wheeler, and you need a little bit more runway.
Well, that's 260 pounds going into 180 pounds, so it always looks more egregious.
But you can't fault the effort. He has been extremely active, especially on the offensive window.
Nice behind-the-back dribble. Bryant, they like that freshman. Say he's got some moves. He shows it there, but no basket. Simpson, and then Brazdeikis wide open. Defensive lapse, but Brazdeikis misses everything.
I don't think he caught it cleanly. The way that thing came off with his rotation, it didn't look like he had it completely corralled before he went into a shooting motion.
Just 1 of 4. A bit of a cold start for him. Simpson sees a lane, and an offensive foul before Brazdeikis buries the 3, so that will not count. 2 fouls on Xavier Simpson.
Nice job of rotating over. You know, Nick Thomas has been the bright spot on both ends of the floor. You can see him rotate over, and the most important thing there, Brandon, is that both feet are clearly established outside that restricted area. Then he just waited for the contact. Simpson left his feet. Thomas made him pay.
Now he sits with that second personal. Both of them have been offensive fouls. Hasn't scored, 2 assists, and he does have 4 rebounds, the guard. Nice cut inside, and a few buckets tonight now for Nick Thomas.
Really nice sequence on the defensive end of the floor, then gets rewarded on the other end. Does Thomas, good job of moving without the ball and coming off shoulder to shoulder with that high screen.
Good response here by the Spartans on a little 6-0 run. Brooks back up top. Great extra pass. Brazdeikis, no. Knocked out. Spartans basketball. Coming up in less than a minute. State Farm halftime report. Toss it to Chicago. And get you caught up on the other action tonight. Indiana played Chicago State before this, got the win off to a 1-0 start with Romeo Langford on the floor. This time Thomas can't convert. Brazdeikis a little out of control, and it's going to be an offensive foul. That's his second. Kind of saw that one coming, didn't you?
Brazdeikis has missed a couple from the perimeter and tries to get something going to the rim with his strong or left hand in this situation, and a good job of rotating over. Again, clearly outside the restricted area, and just a little bit of a frustrating sequence there by the freshman.
And a frustrating first half for a man who was the highest ranked recruit in this Michigan class, one of Beilein's best recruiting classes. And that's a foul on Jordan Poole.
And what you saw right there from the official with that signal, he was in the cylinder of the offensive player. Going once again back to geometry.
I just keep waiting. I'm waiting for physics next. I don't know what's coming.
It's going to be a long wait.
Save it for the second half. You can't empty all of your material early. Michigan on the offensive end, 7 straight empty possessions, so a little bit of a lull here that they're hitting. 1-1. And a miss, and Matthews grabs it. Just a couple second difference between the shot and game clock.
Well, that high post area, you can see that foul line is wide open with the way that Norfolk State has extended the defense here. So a strong flash cut would have forced the defense to make a decision here with the shot clock now down under 10.
Nice pass. Teske with a finish on the feed from Brooks. Half-court heave. That almost went for Thomas.
And the defensive end, good job of moving his feet here for the recovery and rejecting an offering at the rim. That's the good news for Michigan, but like his teammates, Teske also struggled from the foul line. 1 of 4. The Wolverines only 4 of 13 from the stripe in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's going to be something to continue to track all season long. Coming off of last year's free throw shooting woes at 66%, which was 323rd of 351 teams in Division I basketball. Good defense again by Teske.
Nice job by Teske, even understanding as the secondary defender, once you're in that restricted area, good catch as well. Really nice job by Teske.
Nice finish, so he already is in double figures, 11.6 rebounds.
But once you're inside that restricted area as the secondary defender, you know, once you go up and maintain verticality, you can leave the floor, and that's exactly what he did there.
Continuing to fill in nicely for Mo Wagner. We saw a lot of this in the first half. Late shot clock. And then Mustadi Pitt lost the dribble, 2 to shoot, and a foul with 1 on the shot clock. And it'll be the second personal on John Teske.
And Teske just not able to get that inside foot over the baseline, but on the previous defensive possession, good job of keeping the ball high offensively. And then in the defensive possession before, did a really good job. But we showed the foul there, but on the previous defensive possession, he did a really good job of keeping his hands high and showing his hands.
I take your word for it. I know that you're right. And look at that. Another good defensive possession for Teske. Continuing to go straight up. Boy, Matthews may have gotten away with a travel there. Simpson, top of the key.
And a good job by Xavier Simpson. What you saw there on the ball reversal, getting his feet set while the pass was on its way to him. You saw that little bit of a rhythm hop. That allowed Simpson to go into his jump shot. Shot it very confidently. He missed his first offering, but he shot it confidently, not able to convert. Here he does.
7-0 run dating back to the end of last half. Brosdakis, he has it swatted at the apex by Butler.
And he tried to go with his strong hand on the right side of the rim. If he would have been able to use his right hand, might have been able to convert.
Long, second chance, no. How about the third time? Yes, for Alex Long.
Good job by Long and staying with it against that long scoring drought. Comes to an end because of the Hefner play there by Long for Norfolk State.
Alex Long, a guy that Robert Jones is hoping to give him 13-8 this year. He gave him 10-6 a season ago. They need him to make a jump if Norfolk State is going to be a contender in the MEAC. Brosdakis, no from the wing.
And a good job by Thomas of getting a body on Teske there, which allowed his teammate Pitt to come up with the rebound.
Brosdakis, as Butler gets easy lay-in, and a timeout will be taken by Norfolk State.
The Gavitt games are a great example of how important it is to schedule smart.
Yeah, that was a heck of a slate. It'll be a fun week of basketball to watch for sure. What a feed from Simpson inside to Matthews.
And that's the second time we've seen him utilize the jump stop and also look off the defender. He looked right, then came back left.
Matthews has 8. Last year he averaged 13, hoping to make a jump in the scoring category this year. Thomas, good defense by Poole, disrupted that shot.
I think he might have even gotten a piece of that one.
Simpson over to Livers, and Teske has been patrolling that paint. A good job of kicking it out when he doesn't have anything. Simpson, drive and dish, Poole. Michigan showing patience. And with 3 to shoot, Matthews gets into double figures.
Again, a solid fundamental play and the utilization of the jump stop, something that Michigan works on all the time in practice. Rather than going off 1 foot and making yourself susceptible to a charge, they do a really good job of creating space, going under control, and then rising before the defender has a chance to recover.
And 20 points in the paint for Michigan tonight. That's where a majority of their points came in their exhibition game. Ball rolls out, it'll stay on that end. Media timeout. Michigan up 41-17. State Farm assist to the game.
And this comes via Xavier Simpson. It's the second time we've seen him freeze the defense, once in the open floor and here in the half court. Watch it come under control, look right, come back left. The defense for Norfolk State not able to recover for our State Farm assist of the game. That's one of 12 that the Wolverines have as a squad on 16 field goals for a 75% assist to basket ratio.
Shot clock running out, and how about that from Mustadi Pitt? He had not scored until that moment. Ooh, so coming out of the timeout, just 4 to shoot. And Pitt, ho-hum, hits a 32-foot fadeaway. Livers can't get the equalizer. This deserves another look, doesn't it?
Yeah, the shot clock about ready to expire. Mustadi Pitt, good recognition coming out of the dead ball situation because there wasn't a change of possession in the scrum the last time before we went to the break, and Norfolk State, rather than assuming that they had a fresh shot clock, understanding they were under 5.
Teskey, no on the reverse, but he's bumped.
A good job by Teskey of getting behind that last line of defense. That's the good news. The bad news is if you're Michigan, not that it's bad news, but what they would like to have seen with Teskey is be a little bit more aggressive and play through that contact and maybe put his shoulder toward the rim for a chance at an and 1.
1 of 4 at the foul line, now 2 of 5. One element that they will miss with Mo Wagner, his three-point shooting. He really developed that last year. Now, Teskey did hit 1 in the exhibition game. I'm curious to see if that develops for him as the season goes.
Yeah, and you talked about Mo Wagner and his ability to impact the game on the offensive end of the floor, but so many times, players get told, hey, this is what you need to improve upon, and it kind of goes in one ear and out the other. What Mo Wagner did when he tested the draft a couple of seasons ago, the people at the proverbial next level told him, look, you need to become a more assertive rebounder and show you can put the ball on the floor. He answered both of those admirably, especially when it came to rebounding the basketball. As a result, he is now able to make a living playing this game.
He's out with the Lakers and doing well at the next level. Driving inside long, and another block by Teskey. Wagner's replacement this season. Simpson was being shoved by C.J. Kelly on the drive. Another peek at the block by Teskey.
And Teskey's able to overcome a chicken wing there. Watch right here. He takes one right in the lower back, but keeps on playing. That's a play that in the MEAC they might be able to complete at the rim, but not with somebody with Teskey's ability to move and utilize that length here in this ballgame tonight.
Norfolk State, they have just not been able to get any flow offensively. They continue to switch these defenses. You see him in the 2-3 zone. Oh, Matthews rising, but he couldn't finish.
Man, he shot out.
Well, we know he has the athleticism. There's no question about that. The lefty Armani Branch with a 3.
Nice job by Branch of getting set in that right corner. Transfer from VMI.
Talked about the next level and Wagner in the NBA. Matthews tested those waters. And he was told to improve the outside shot, more assists, fewer turnovers. But we know he can do this.
Well, he gets a running start, and then he is above everybody there. If he's able to get maybe that other hand, that left hand on it, he might have been able to do a two-hand completion, but can't fault the effort, and certainly the athleticism impressive.
And I think you and I agree, though, made the right decision to come back here to Michigan for one more season. He's got 10 points tonight, this Matthews. This time it's Poole. How about the little teardrop? No, and then Teskey can't get it. But the players have much more flexibility now testing those NBA waters and being able to come back. You know, that used to not be the case.
Yep. Get information, get feedback, and then it's incumbent upon that player to decide what it is they want to do. Do they want to say that I know better than the people who are going to be potentially signing your paycheck, or do you just take it under advisement and go to work? And the people at Michigan thus far that have gone through that process have certainly taken it under advisement and put it to work to their benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. And John Beilein was incredibly supportive of Charles Matthews. He told him, it's your decision. I'll talk you through it, help you as much as I can. And he took it right up to the final day and called Coach Beilein and his family and said, I'm going to go back to Michigan for another year.
When in their NCAA tournament run, he was fantastic. He was able to get to the rim complete, struggled a little bit in the national championship game, but there is no way they are playing in that tournament final without the effort that he put forth in his first season here in Ann Arbor.
He averaged 6 more points a game in the tournament than he did in the regular season. 43-25 inside of 13 minutes in the season opener. And that time it's Austin Davis off the bench. He can't finish, but he'll have 2 at the line.
And a good job by Austin Davis, even though he comes up a little short, understanding on that ball reversal against that zone defense. We talked about it in the first half, Brandon. Flashing hard to that high post, getting behind that first line of defense, and he showed you why there.
Davis gets the first. Saturday, BT and Tailgate heading to Michigan State's campus. Dave, Jerry, Howard, Spice, and Michelle, they're going to set the scene for the Spartans and the Buckeyes and a busy day around the conference. BT and Tailgate's all presented by TAAA, and it starts Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern.
That's going to be interesting for a number of reasons, that particular game, Brandon, because, you know, Ohio State trying to get the running game back in order. They put up some big numbers on the ground against Nebraska last week, and that come from behind win, but Michigan State has a stout run defense, to say the least.
You think here on this campus people are excited about football right now? Number 4 tonight in the college football playoff poll.
Talk about defense. We've talked about defense for the Michigan basketball squad. How about the defensive 11 put forth by the Wolverines on the gridiron?
Certainly one of the best. A lot of people think the best defense in the country. Alabama might have something to say about that, but it's going to be fun to watch the stretch as we have crossover season here between basketball and football, but that stretch run of the football season is going to be very entertaining. Rozdakis back in for John Beilein. And another whistle here.
And they get an illegal screen.
Got long.
And the reason that they made that call, and it was the right call, Brandon, is that when you set the screen, you can't have your feet wider than shoulder width apart because you need to have your feet underneath you. It's certainly an offensive foul, meaning an illegal screen if you move. Long didn't necessarily move, but his feet were too wide when he set the offering there on the baseline.
Yeah, that was a big emphasis last year and something they're emphasizing again this season. Michigan has missed their last 7 shots with a little bit of an offensive funk. Poole swings it over to Livers, his sophomore teammate. Woo. Nice, no look, and Rozdakis flushes it. Seeing some nifty passing from the men in white tonight.
Very unselfish play. Again, continuing the theme from a year ago when this is a team that led the conference in turnover margin and assist turnover ratio.
On the leak out here, it's Eli Brooks. Give that assist to Livers again. Right back to a 23-point advantage for Michigan. High arcing shot. Long can't find it. 11 minutes to go from Chrysler Center, and That's going to be a carry. Turnover for Michigan.
Well, Michigan, very unselfish, continuing with theme here. The ability to get in the lane, look off the draft. It just paid dividends in so many ways for this program.
Yeah, that's what Luke Yaklich was telling us before the game, and you saw he and Sadi Washington side by side on the bench. Such a big part of John Beilein's staff, and they really stood in and helped the guys during that trip to Spain. There's Luke Yaklich, who you referred to as a de facto defensive coordinator in his second year. Done a fantastic job. Almost another Norfolk State turnover. Long, step back over Davis, and he got it.
That was long.
Still the Spartans sitting on just 27 points on 29% shooting. Another nice feed. Hey, Davis just wanted to pad his stats.
And what Norfolk State tried to do is give a little bit of a different look, a little bit of a run and jump defense. Good job by Michigan of keeping the dribble alive, not allowing the trap to get themselves set. And then, again, Moses Malone right there, padding the offensive rebounding stats.
And a block by Livers. Brooks to Simpson, and the foul underneath on Joe Bryant. Michigan's been blocking everything tonight.
Nice job of rotating over by Livers, and again, good team defense, doesn't die. Nice job of showing, even though he doesn't draw the contact, the freshman forces the Norfolk State player to kind of slide off to the right-hand side, which allows Livers the chance to come over and recover.
Simpson, no for the line, so Michigan now 7 of 18 in that department. Probably just the one thing he's upset about tonight, right?
Yeah, their three-point shooting hasn't been great, but you know, that's something that, especially in an early season game, you might expect to struggle a little bit, but you know, the free throw shooting is just, it's mental, and they just need to be able to step up there, especially as the season unfolds and the competition stiffens a little bit. Guys like Simpson and Matthews, look, teams are going to gap them and force them to beat them over the top, and once they do get into the lane, they need to be able to convert foul shots at a higher rate than they did a year ago, rather, where both were hovering in the 50s.
Yeah, there's Brosdakis. Pretty nifty move, he'll head to the line. Well, you mentioned the three-point shooting, you're right, they're just 5 of 20 as Michigan from long range.
Norfolk State foul to 22, Alex Long, his 4th personal foul.
But in a game like this where you see, you know, comfortable lead by Michigan, you know, one thing that you might be concerned about is the fact that guys are trying to get their own. That has not happened here at all so far for Michigan, as witnessed by the fact that their assist to field goal ratio is so high. Guys are sharing the ball, and the movement of personnel as well as the basketball here in the season opener has been impressive.
Still just an 8-man rotation so far for John Beilein.
Well, you know, we had the opportunity to talk to Coach Beilein before, a very highly touted freshman class, and he's just like, hey, you know what? I don't want to throw so many of these guys in until I feel that they're ready, because confidence is such a fragile thing. No need to test it unnecessarily before you feel that everyone involved is comfortable.
Yeah, but we do assume that as the game goes, we'll see David DeJulius, we'll see Brandon Johns. Some of the others in that freshman class, Adrian Nunez and Colin Castleton as well. And off balance, that's going to be a travel. Mastadi Pitt just lost his footing.
And a good job of moving the feet. I think Simpson might have gotten away with a little bit of a hand. His right hand was up, but it looked like that left hand might have been able to get his and kind of guide Pitt right there. Savvy play by Simpson.
That's one word to describe his defense. Savvy. Savvy, crafty, however you want to put it. He's good at it.
Guy we haven't talked a whole lot about tonight, but he's also been impressive. He hasn't scored a bunch, but how about Eli Brooks? 4 assists, no turnovers so far.
Yeah, he's been very effective. Fadeaway jump shot drops for Isaiah Livers. But Eli Brooks is a guy who had a roller coaster season a year ago. Starting lineup early, and then into the year he just fell out of the rotation completely. Good finish there by Mastadi Pitt. But if Brooks can give them another solid option at that guard spot, that's a big boost.
And, kind of cut the minutes, especially early going as you're trying to figure out what your rotation is for a guy like Simpson, to maybe keep him a little bit fresher. But Brooks has been really impressive here tonight.
And he shows the range. Three-pointer from Mr. Brooks.
And he's 2 of 3 from deep.
Only hit 10 three-pointers all of last year, and Pitt with another near turnover. Able to keep the possession. Kelly, shot altered by Teskey, but also a foul, his third.
Eli Brooks getting his teammates involved in terms of passing the ball, but here he's the recipient. Good pass, and look where it hits him. Brandon, it hits him right in the shooting pocket. Look where this delivery comes from Livers. Boom. All he has to do is catch and go up. He doesn't have to reach down to his left or to his right. Nice, solid team basketball, and Brooks has been very, very impressive here so far this evening.
And while he may not look huge, because he's not, he's still at 185 pounds. He did add 15 pounds of muscle in the offseason just to try to be a little bit more stout at that guard spot.
As he gets older, adding that 15 pounds will become much less strenuous.
But it might not look as good,
yes, that's for sure.
It might be in other areas, that's all. This is coming from a guy who's only drank Diet Coke today. You haven't even eaten.
My body is a well-oiled machine, Brandon.
Yeah. Filled of aspartame. That's what it is.
I'm saving on the embalming.
You glow in the dark.
Yep.
Spartans again extending that pressure into the backcourt. Inside of 8 minutes to go in the season opener. Michigan with an impressive performance, a 28-point lead, trying to make it 31. Charles Matthews can't oblige.
We got a nice job by Brooks of utilizing that misdirection dribble. He dribbles left, forces the defense to rotate, and then he kicks it back right to Matthews.
Keontae Chavis, good shot.
Tough shot. He lost that on the way up. He goes into his shooting motion. The ball kind of came out of his hands, and he's able to regroup and knock it down.
Another player who sat last year wasn't a full NCAA qualifier, junior college transfer that they're going to need this season in the MEAC conference. They're usually always near the top of that MEAC. Finished 4th or better 11 of the last 12 years of the Spartans. 4 to shoot. Matthews, way too strong. Shot clock violation.
Nice job. You'll get him at the turn of the year.
But Michigan State losing tonight to Kansas, 92-87.
They were down early. Kansas, boy, are they loaded. And Michigan State, we talked about the number of players that Michigan's had to replace. Even though there's a great recruiting class and you have an outstanding backcourt returning, look, you're also trying to replace 2 lottery picks. So a period of adjustment in East Lansing as well.
Yeah, Cassius Winston, the leader. He and Charles Matthews were both on the Naismith watch list that came out this week. 8 Big Ten players were on the Naismith watch list. Yeah, the top 3 players in the state that finished top 3 in the voting for Michigan Mr. Basketball went to the 2 schools that you would expect, Michigan and Michigan State. Over the top to Teskey. Ooh, Matthews tried to come in with a follow. Foul on Norfolk State.
And Teskey doesn't complete the play, but he uses his body extremely well. Watch him ride the defender up the lane. He takes Butler up the lane. Now he needs to be able to convert that, and Matthews again just crashing the offensive glass with a great deal of authority.
Poor Jordan Butler. He's saying, what did I do? Matthews came crashing into me. But he's picked up his 4th foul. And another missed free throw. Matthews is 0 of 5 at the line tonight. You said it earlier, but at some point it just becomes mental. Another block by Teskey.
Norfolk State basketball.
Teskey rotating over, and it's almost not fair.
Well, those guards, you would have thought they would have learned by now for Norfolk State. You can't go in there. Teskey around the rim and just flip it up haphazardly. Approaching 6 minutes, Mastani Pitt bounces it in, and then the pass goes through the hands of B.J. Fitzgerald. Chavis, contested jumper is good.
I tell you what, that's the second difficult shot he's hit. Remember about 3 or 4 possessions ago, Brandon, he goes up from about that elbow area on the foul line, loses it on the way up, and is able to regather and knock it down.
And then the alley-oop over the hands of Teskey. He and Jordan Poole weren't on the same page.
Well, Chavis bails out Norfolk State here. A little bit of a jab step. That's a tough shot. Going to his left, the shot clock winding down, and able to complete a nice offensive sequence. And you can see that that made basket created some confidence as he's able to catch and just go to the left hand with the dribble drive.
And picks up the 4th foul on Jordan Poole. That shot by Chavis, they reviewed it to see if it was a 2 or a 3. It was a 2-pointer put on the line. Quick teaching moment. John Beilein of the sophomore Poole. Pitt mid-range. Good on an angle.
Really good job on the half-court set. Coming off that little high ball screen, coming under control and not driving all the way in where the larger defenders can come over and eliminate an opportunity. Good job by Pitt of pulling up under control.
This game was 20 points early. Give Norfolk State a little credit, because they could have easily folded. This could be 40 points right now. Brosdakis, got blocked by the front of the rim. There was a foul. He wanted that so badly.
Norfolk State fouls number 35,
And a good job of moving without the basketball.
his second personal foul.
The interesting part is, as you read the Michigan game notes, he does everything right-handed except shoot the basketball.
Yeah, they say they don't really know where the left-handed streak came from. Just when he was young, he started to shoot left-handed. It felt natural, and he went with it. But you're right. He writes right-handed. He eats right-handed. Kind of strange. But I don't think he can switch now. It's working out okay.
Why did you say kind of strange when you looked at me? That's very disturbing.
Well, because you're kind of strange.
That's true.
Some things go hand in hand. Brosdakis converts 2 at the line to get to 60 for Michigan tonight. Brosdakis individually has 8 for them at the line. And Pitt off the mark from downtown. Brosdakis trying to get some confidence. He had a rough start. There you go. I mean, that's what the freshman can do.
And he sprinted that right side of the floor, and he made sure that Livers saw him do that. I mean, he sprints up the right side of the floor, sets up shop, and his ability to put the ball on the floor with his right hand then allows him to use the spin move right here to get back to his strong or left for the completion and a chance at a three-point play.
The only freshman that has played tonight until now, Brandon Johns, the freshman from East Lansing who chose Michigan over Michigan State, checks into the ball game for the first time.
32, Chris Ford. And 4, Joe
Part of that
Bryant.
5-man freshman class that, as we noted earlier, one of the best that John Beilein has had here.
Runner-up in the state of Michigan for their Mr. Basketball title a year ago. Averaged about 28 points and 11 rebounds.
Yeah, between he, Brosdakis, David DeJulius, who we have not seen yet, figures to be a promising future. Teskey goes to the bench, by the way, and assuming he'll be there the rest of the game. 13 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 blocks. A solid night from the big man. Brooks got a hand on it.
Well, Brooks has been really impressive here. Nice job by Brooks of coming in with that deflection, because if he comes with his strong or right hand, he's not going to be able to impact that pass, but he has that inside or left hand coming in there, allowing himself to disrupt the play. Solid play so far on both ends by Brooks.
Brosdakis comes up with it, and he's fouled by Joe Bryant.
Norfolk State fouls number 4. Joe Bryant,
The notable newcomers there, the 3 that we were talking about. Brosdakis, 2-time MVP, and you see at the bottom, that's Ontario Scholastic Basketball Association in Canada, but then Johns and DeJulius, both top 5 recruits.
And we talked about Brandon Johns was second in the voting for Mr. Basketball in the state of Michigan. His teammate, as we saw to the far right of the screen, was number 3.
The other one that was in the mix went to Michigan State. That's Foster Lawyer. So all the talent at the top of that class staying right here in Michigan. And we have for the first time now seen David Julius. He steps in, starting the basketball right now out top.
Good job by Jonta. Good job on that high screen of coming out, showing strong, and then getting back. Nice job by the young big fella.
Estati Pitt. And now the three-pointer, deep three. Thomas can't connect. But an offensive board as we are down inside of 4 minutes. Norfolk State 32% from the floor tonight.
A few easy shots with the visitors here this evening.
Offensive foul, Charles Matthews, our final media break.
About Romeo Langford and his impact as a freshman potentially for the Indiana Hoosiers. Don't sleep on Justin Smith. As a sophomore, I expect him to take a really big leap because athletically he certainly has all the tools.
And if you don't like the balance, send all complaints to Sean Morris's MySpace page because you don't have Twitter.
No. I have a flip phone, so there's no way.
This is true. I can attest to that. Roz Dacus, man of the weak side, Spartans rebound. John Beeline at just 3 minutes away from win number 800 if you count the 75 victories at the junior college level where he started his career. I don't care where the wins come from. 800 is impressive.
And to put together a resume like that, never serving as an assistant coach. You've always directed your own program.
Nunez, one of the freshmen with a bad miss there. Yeah, 41 years as a college head coach, and as you say, always been the head man, and he's done it with class at every single level. A timeout here taken by the aforementioned John Beeline, just trying to get some of the guys off the end of the bench into the game.
One of the true, not just great coaches, but really outstanding people, and a word that, I think sometimes in the society in which we live kind of gets put to the side. He's a gentleman in every sense of the word.
Showing how well respected he is. After his double bypass surgery, he got notes from everybody, including you, my good friend. But the two coaches at Michigan State, Mark D'Antonio, Tom Izzo, sent him handwritten notes as well. That shows to the level of respect that he has in this industry. But from junior college to Division III, Division II, and then Division I, the 4 stops he's been there, it has been impressive and fun to watch him coach. Off-balance runner, no good for Joe Bryant. One of those freshmen, David DeJulius, had it picked from behind.
Nice job by Bryant of not giving up on the play with the back tap.
And then the foul defensively on the other side on the freshman from Detroit. He's trying to work out those early jitters. His first time here at Chrysler Center in a regular season game. To Detroit's East English High School last year and averaged 26 and 8, and also 8 assists a game as well. He said one of the greatest things for him so far has been going against Xavier Simpson every day in practice. That'll teach you. Just like when Xavier Simpson was a newcomer to the program, he went against Derek Walton Jr. every day in practice. That pays dividends. Absolutely. Good pedigree teaching the future of Michigan basketball as Norfolk State takes a timeout with 1:54 to go. Tonight, on an all-new journey, learn more about the fast friendship between Michigan's Chase Winovich on the football side of things and Shea Patterson. Plus, see how Illinois' Reggie Corbett has emerged as one of the conference's best running backs. All that and behind-the-scenes access for Northwestern Notre Dame on the journey tonight, 11 Eastern right here on BTN, so stay tuned for that. The folks in the crowd, they know that John Beeline is on the doorstep of 800 wins. Michigan tonight, one of the things that we've seen is some good sharing of the basketball.
Well, this is a team that's known for taking care of the basketball and being unselfish, and it started early on. You know, Jordan, this turnover ratio as a freshman, you would have never known it, especially at the beginning of this ball game, where he put together 3 assists in short order, getting his teammates involved, not just at the rim, from behind the arc, and a really good job by Jordan Poole of coming out and setting the tone. He may not have scored as much as he might have done for periods of time a year ago, but boy, he was really impressive taking care of the ball.
16 assists on 22 made field goals tonight for the Wolverines. Colin Castleton got fouled as he caught it inside. That's a guy they say needs to beef up a little bit if he wants to compete in the Big Ten inside, Castleton.
He will. And you know, it's a big adjustment for any player, Brandon, to go from the high school level to the college level, but it's even more difficult for a big guy. For the simple fact you mentioned, there's a big difference between being an 18-year-old freshman and a 21 or 22-year-old junior or senior, and you have to learn how to play through contact. At the high school level, look, if you get bumped, chances are they're going to call the foul. Not so much here, so it's not just the ability to have to learn how to play with the game at a higher pace, but you have to learn how to play it in a more physical, consistent nature.
And he can't convert either shot from the foul line, Castleton, the freshman from Daytona Beach, Florida. Michigan 13 of 28 in that department. Also didn't help Castleton that he broke his hand before that August trip to Spain, and he couldn't play there. That was something that really set him back.
And not only could he not play in the games, but we talked about it earlier, what would have benefited him as much, if not more, was that practice experience and going against a guy like John Teskey every day in practice. Because look, everyone takes their lumps when you come in to, especially at this level, and as a bigger guy, you're not coming in as physically ready to compete as someone who's been in the program for a couple of years. And you just have, that's just part of the process. And this young man has a bright future here in Ann Arbor.
Right now he's third in the big man category, with Davis being second behind Teskey. Castleton showing he can put it on the deck, but then it's blocked from behind. But that's something that's in his game. He can step outside and then drive it past you. .12 to shoot as we approach a minute remaining. DeJulius trying to get his first basket in a Wolverine uniform, but cannot. And a three-pointer good for B.J. Fitzgerald, the freshman for Norfolk State. So a mixed bag here. Michigan got up big early, pushed it out to around 30 points, and now Spartans with a late run of 8 points straight here. Castleton, bad miss to the right. So free throws and three-point shooting, those have been the two issues tonight for Michigan. Castleton's going to get called for the foul, trying to block the shot. I will be very interested to see when you and I are doing a Michigan game down the road in, say, January or February, how the shooting has progressed.
Yeah, I think especially from the foul line, you know, that was something that everybody had been talking about, especially when it came to some of the returning players like Simpson and Matthews, an area that they struggled a year ago. And so much of it is mental. And I think we saw that in particular with Charles Matthews. He struggled from the line tonight, and there were a couple times he just did not shoot the ball confidently. He will get there. But when you have something that people just keep talking about and talking about, you know how you get people to quit talking about it? Just do it. Just convert it, whether it's winning a ball game or increasing a skill.
Castleton high for the rebound, and the shot clock is off. This should be the final possession. Michigan getting to 1-0 here on the opener on November 6th at Chrysler Center. DeJulius is just going to dribble it out, and Michigan defeats Norfolk State 63-44, and John Beeline gets win number 800. He got victory number 1.